We are today on the fifth conference of ABSL. This is the biggest outsourcing event in Poland. And our guest is Mr. Gautam Thakkar, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Infosys BPO. Welcome, Gautam.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here in Poland, and I guess Poland is becoming very important for Infosys. I've got a couple of questions which actually I would like to ask you. We will start with India. India is the center of the outsourcing world currently. Can you give us a feeling what is the industry size in India and how does Infosys look like in this environment?
Well, if I look at the overall industry in general, I think India last year, I think NASSCOM, which is the industry forum in India, they talked about the industry growing at about 12 to 14%. The BPO industry also grew by about that much in India. Infosys in general overall has about more than 160,000 employees globally. Of course, India is a central hub for Infosys, as you can imagine. And that business has also been growing by 11.5%. So I think overall, if you really think about the IT and the IT-enabled services, as it's called, the industry is growing at roughly between 12 and 14% on an annualized basis. And India obviously happens to be a large chunk of that.
Okay. And about you, how did your career in outsourcing industry and especially in Infosys started?
Well, I was a consultant before I got into this BPO industry. So when I joined Infosys, I was very focused on being a consultant all my life. Infosys, sometime in 2001, decided to start the BPO business. And I was asked if I wanted to be part of the startup team. So I was the first employee in Infosys BPO. And I've been with them ever since. So I happened to be at the right place at the right time. I was asked, I was in between projects, and I took up that opportunity, and I've been in the BPO business in Infosys since 2001.
Okay. I had the pleasure to visit one of your centers in Bangalore last year, and it's fascinating. I was very, very much impressed. When did Infosys decide actually to grow outside of India? And what is the role of the Infosys Operations Center here in Poland? You've got the center in Łódź.
So Infosys has been doing business outside of India since inception. I think it's just the BPO business decided to, which is the business that I'm part of, we decided in 2004 to set up a global center, and the first center was set up in Brno, in the Czech Republic, which is about 4 hours from here. And at that point in time, we realized that a lot of our clients were expecting and their operations were global, so it was important to set up something outside of India because of language and so on and so forth. So progressively, it obviously grew. Now, of course, we've got more than 6,500 people globally that are located outside of India, and that growth is continuing at a faster rate than the business that is actually going into India, which is reflective of the way the clients are actually doing business. I think Poland Center came about when in 2007, we acquired the Philips Shared Service Centers in Łódź, in India and in Thailand. And this really center was part of our strategy going in. We would have, whether we had acquired the Philips Center or not, I think we were very conscious that we wanted to set up something in Poland regardless. It just happened to be, again, something that was available, and we earned the right of doing business with Philips, and since then we've been growing that center phenomenally. I mean, today the Poland center is growing at almost about 20% on an annualized basis in Łódź. We're almost 2,000 people, and we'll continue to grow that center because we see a lot of potential in the talent that is available in the market, the infrastructure, and I think the government has been supporting us a lot in terms of driving business into the city into Poland in general.
Okay, thank you. The centers are growing with the processes they are actually managing. What is your opinion about the future of the processes run by the BPO centers? Which of the processes which will start to disappear and which will grow within the coming years?
Yeah, I think the nature of the business is, especially since I remember in 2001, has changed dramatically. I think it's increasingly technology is playing a very important role in determining whether the processes should be there or not. So I think from the olden days where we used to ask the question, can we actually move the processes? I think the questions that are being asked is, do we actually need to move the process at all? Can we automate them? So the profile and the nature of the work is changing. So while the work in itself, finance and accounting, sourcing and procurement continues to be the same. I think it's being driven a lot by technology. So what used to be a typical pyramid structure, in the sense that you used to have a lot of transactional work being done at the bottom of the pyramid, is somewhat looking like a pentagon, where the sides of the pyramid have been shaved off, and now all of a sudden you have lesser transactional work, and the middle is getting a little bit more thicker, where you want to introduce a lot more expertise and domain and technology and the likes. So I think the trend is towards a pentagon, is what I believe, and the pyramid, from what we used to know it 10, 11 years ago, is that's the shape that it's taking, and I think that will mean that technology and specialized domain skills are going to increasingly play a role in the way people start looking at outsourcing and the kind of work that gets moved to us as service providers.
Okay, thank you for that. And the last question, we are in Poland, you have the center in here, probably you will grow, I'm more than sure you will grow in Poland. Are you going to continue to grow in one city, like the city of Łódź, or you are considering also other locations?
Well, we would definitely consider other locations as well. I think as we start maxing out in a particular center, that questions keeps getting asked, because we certainly want to leverage the full talent that is available across Poland. So this city is perfect. I think we obviously know about Krakow and some of the other cities which are latent talent hubs. So we will certainly consider them at an appropriate time.
Thank you, Gautam. It was great having you with us, and it was a great interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you.